Let's see where the red light is.
Played that part of the video sound for my wife.
Oh, hate crimes.
Yeah, so nobody told me it was live. I thought it was just tests.
It was recorded. It wasn't even live, but it wasn't.
Okay.
Oh, shucks. Look what the cat hauled in. It's Ben Hameen and the Conspiracy Horsemen. Let me begin. Like GGP, I got so much trouble on my mind about these no-talent wrestlers getting signed. They can't fly. And if that ain't bad, you got bootleggers going out like suckers. Motherfuckers feel it's time that I let loose the lion. And if not that, then I'll commence the head flying. So here we go, infidels. It's the Conspiracy Horsemen, twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen. Knocking them heads back, shining the light on what we need to focus on going into September, not all the distraction scenarios. Here, hackerhameen.podbean.com. YALLA! Yeah, man, as I see it light up here already in the chat room, you know the heavy hitters are going to be here, and we're back 4 strong, focused, refocused. We've been all over the place on the road, trying to fight the battle against ignorance wherever we go, but it seems like a never-ending shitstorm raining down on us every time you look up, man. But we're glad to reunite back here. Shield Brothers fist in. I guess we could do, PayPal, whatever you want, $5, $25. But yeah, good to see all my brothers here feeling reunited and strong tonight. GGP, I'm jealous I didn't get a chance to do my baldy, and your head is shining bright. It looks freshly oiled while my hairline is stooging off my age.
That's because the hi-hat light is like right there, so it's hitting me perfectly. Yeah, I shaved it this morning. I'm good to go, you guys. You know?
You look handsome and ageless. I'm not sure if you got
excited.
The new adrenochrome. Go ahead.
I'm excited. Conspiracy Horsemen United. Double XLP. Everyone's excited.
That's
you know
right.
What I mean?
That's right, man. We are excited to be back. And I know you probably got it out of them because both of you guys are pretty ageless. Some vampiric shit that you got going on the side in Utah with the Mormons or something. But Stevie Cool, back from Florida, getting the beach workout in. Going to have a new set for us. Doing mic testing, doing testing for Switcher Studio. So all kinds of influencing going on. Hopefully we can do some influence in here tonight with some truth. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to work out the bugs with that. And Pop It On, you would love this because we were testing out a bunch of, we were testing us out doing it, but up to 4 people can be doing a watch along. So we were in a little box while watching the wrestling match. And there's all these different applications, just a lot of echo and just, it's a brand new version. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Well, I changed my name. Now let me changed.
Impact Bound. Look at that.
No, not fired by Impact.
They'll be impact bound and gagged soon. Bound for glory. But we're glad he's back in all of his green glory. Hopefully he's hulking up, and that's why he's all green tonight, ready to smash through a wall, smash through somebody's skull. And if somebody does something stupid in the chat room, I'm sure you're going to get smashed down too. But it's Big Salala. They've been asking about you. They've been missing you just like we have, man. Welcome home.
Thank you. I'm finally out of the garbage. Finally out of Florida. Literally the fucking dirty diaper of the United States. It is
it the dirty adult diaper? Is that
dirty adult diaper? It is God's waiting room, waiting for everyone to die. That's where you go. That's the waiting room, the green room for the big interview.
Right on,
nice.
Man. Oh well, glad to see you back in action, dude, and to have you back. We definitely missed you, and Billy Ray filling in, and also John Prester did a great job. I'm not sure if you got to listen to those shows or not, but nobody can fill Sally's shoes, but we're glad to have them, man.
Well, I already got yelled at by a couple people. So while I was playing Call of Duty, while I was playing Call of Duty, I was told, not allowed to take any more time off. So.
Well, the new Horror Junkyard's up, so even while you were taking time off, you're still providing them with great secondary content, man.
Yeah, that was we decided to jump on and get a lot of clusterfuck. You always have the best laid plans that always get fucked the worst.
Sure.
And that's what pretty much every horror junkyard turns into. We start off strong. We have a great plan, and then we just at some point the wheels fall off, and we all just smash into the side of the rock.
Mm-hmm. Well, then we get stranded on Tatooine, and the new Force Order guys come to our rescue. That's just how we do it, man. But tonight we're going to take a look at what we usually been kicking around in our chat. There's plenty we can talk about. GGP is going to school us. Me anyway. I'm not sure if the other guys got to watch the video. Some new Mob Stooge stuff that is very interesting. We really want to keep an eye on what's going on in September because here we are again. We're reopening. Oh, we're closing. Shut them down. Shut them down. All this. Oh, come here, get away. Come here, get away. And the mind games and mind fuck and distraction scenario when we know there's a big possible world changing or theater of the absurd for the world of Hillary Clinton and Obama, and we don't even really know what's going down in September. We just know keeping a lookout for end of August, beginning of September for shit to really get amped up. I'm actually seeing some reports from our friends in Louisville area that the shooting that went down there may have actually been an agent provocateur to shut that down to get everybody out of there in the park and all that kind of shit. That there's just shady things going on that are still deep state and Cold War to try and light the fuse on these powder kegs, man.
And well, just before we came on again, I was just actually watching the mainstream news on ABC, and it seems to be it's like that real small buildup where they're just dropping the seed now, but obviously it's they're just pushing everything, and they keep showing pretty much the 30 minutes I was sitting there waiting, kind of waiting on time, looking, and then the 30 minutes they showed nothing but Fox clips on ABC, and all of it was detracting from Trump and what an awful job he's doing. He's not wearing a mask, despite Fauci's, whole bit. And it was just, it literally is just building up. And then every commercial in between that was a Trump Biden commercial about how old and fucking feeble Biden is, how it's his third time running.
Wow.
And how he doesn't have the stamina.
I see. Right now they have on Drudge Report, Biden's got Trump in a chokehold and it says "Fight to see who's most senile." That's the headline. But the big headline is El Toro Poppy. I'm not even sure about that handle. 10,000 bits. Cheer. Unbelievable. Appreciate that, man. Of you chiming in. He says, "Will someone please tell Lana to get off any and all social media? Please get her off."
What's going on with Lana?
Oh, well,
tell him wrong podcast. This is a conspiracy.
Well, you might like this one.
Yeah, what's going on?
TikTok and camel toe showing shit online that she does, and still shows Rusev during the Bobby Lashley segment last night where she's not on TV and Lashley's in the ring. She shows up live on Instagram in one of those blackface Cole masks. Beauty masks, dude. Like totally looking, couldn't look any more blackface at the precise moment that's going on in the ring from her shit, dude. Like, yikes. So, you may be right on.
Who is sitting now? Who is in the back? Okay, who is sitting in the back going?
Listen, speaking about back, you know what Lana backwards spells? Huh?
That's dude. I was wearing the Happy Lana Day shirt earlier, and I went by the mirror and I laughed thinking about that.
So here's my other question. Every day, and I've sent it to you guys countless times. Every day, I get an Indeed email that the WWE is looking for writers. It went from a writer's assistant to writer/talent. They've changed it
to lead writer.
But it's still to lead writer.
Writer.
What, they want the writers to be on TV now too. They want somebody to write the show and be. Wow.
Maybe they'll send it again, but
I think what
every day.
I think you're misinterpreting it.
Do you think they're trying to just
looking for the writers because they're all hiding? They're hiding in the building. They can't find them.
They're all stuck on the second roof. They've been locked up there tending to Vince's weed plants. Quick game. Let's go around. Who would you cancel? If a little game show up here, GGP. If you could cancel one thing in the world right now, what would you cancel?
What do you mean by cancel? Like
I don't
take
know
out of the
everything else
equation?
that's going down that they're fucking with everybody else's money. Who you can? I know anything you want from the Fed to whatever, man. Who would you cancel?
It's a toss-up. I would say either the Federal Reserve,
Yeah, why and why?
or because they're the biggest crooks out there, and they cause all the problems. They're the ones who's manipulating everything, meaning as far as the economy goes. And if we didn't have to pay these pricks back any escarole, then we wouldn't be having IRS breathing down our throats and taking so many taxes from us for a currency that has no stability, no backing, a fiat currency. And on top of that, they keep printing money out of thin air, no all high spots, no rest holds, and they are messing everything up to the point where our currency is going to be devalued intentionally to go to a cryptocurrency, a digital currency, and what's going to happen? We're all going to be screwed. So that's victim number one. I say victim number two is probably the Vatican.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, those are correct answers. You move on to the second round, GGP, of Cancel This. Next up, he hails from Pennsylvania, where there are no Dippin' Donuts franchises. He's not happy about it. He's the big man. You might have heard of him. He's from the Full-Blooded Italians. Big Sal, welcome to the show. Sal, who would you cancel?
Oh, man. So now when you say who is, can I blanket it?
Yeah, sure.
Blanket
them all. Blanket. Are you talking about Michael Jackson's kid? Are you going to cancel him?
He would have been canceled years ago. I'm going to go with so far the people who have been destroying my hobby, people who have been destroying all of that with the bullshit racism crossover. Now it's they've taken away Oriental Adventures. A book written in '85, they're now going back and saying it's very, very racist, which it's not, but whatever. All those people who are, and the people who pulled the Community episode of the D&D episode of Community off of Netflix, the people who have never fucking played the game in their life, but feel it's their responsibility to cancel things because they're outraged. I would like to cancel all those people. By cancel, I mean execute.
Sal,
a bold move.
Yes, sir.
I'm canceling the cancelers. Yes. I didn't expect that one. Very good. Go ahead, GGP.
I have a frush.
What the fuck's a frush?
Me, Japan. Stevie, one of our veteran players. He's played this game many times. Back, our returning champion. Stevie, you've got a lot to choose from here. Mainstream media, obviously, yoga instructors. Who are you feeling like should be canceled in this culture today?
Well, we're going to get a little deep with this because I think the whole idea of canceling should be canceled in itself. Ooh. I think this is a bunch of this is a slippery slope if there ever was one. I mean,
before you answer, what about LG? Would you cancel LG before you try and get a moral?
Oh, I wouldn't because it's just like, well, actually, they're giving me a new TV.
What about your Discover card?
No. Even though Dave Ramsey tells me I need to.
Okay.
No, in all seriousness, though, with what's going on, because we've already seen it, everybody thought by canceling the supposed conservatives or the easy targets or the people that the liberals should, be cheering for, those people ran out, and then he turned around and go, oh, you were on our side, but now we're going to cancel you too. The Jimmy Kimmels and all the other people. I wish this could go back in time and everybody could just be normal. And this cancel culture should be, that's not a hint about impact, by the way. This cancel culture should be completely forgotten. There should be Men in Black, flashy thing, Mandela effect, go right back to where it never existed, because it's never going to end until everybody and everything that's ever been entertainment or enjoyable, which could be by design, they're taking away the bread in circuses. So now you can't enjoy anything. So what happens?
Fuck, look at you going deep.
I'm going deep.
You are, man.
There's your little sound clip for your roadcaster, man. But no, really, it could be a design plan to take everything that you enjoy, to let steam off, to de-stress. They're taking away gyms. They're taking away games. Yeah. They're taking away movies and TV shows. I heard they're canceling entire Star Wars movies and deleting them from the library. Is that true, Pablo?
No, it's
The,
fictitious.
the mere attempt to do that, though, the mere attempt to even remove 3 movies that people might enjoy just because.
Well, listen, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I have $1 million question. Ben, I'm going to piggyback right now on your dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, round 2.
All right, this is speed round, bonus round. So, if you can go back in time, what would you do?
Oh, Von Erichs, of course. They had a cage.
Would you save JFK, or would you cancel the cancel culture? Which would you do? You got to pick one.
Hey, I think JFK was close when he did the secret society speech of eliminating the Fed, of eliminating this supposed New World Order or whatever, Council on Foreign Relations. If I could save him, there's a good possibility that the entire human history could be rewritten. And of course, when I slammed the cage door on Kerry Von Erich, that's just icing on the cake. Get out of the way, Michael Hayes. I'm here.
Don't slam it on his foot. He won't feel a thing.
Bing,
Oh,
bang, boom.
Sally, you're blacked.
Come on, man. I'm standing up for rights.
You're great. You're more great than you're saying up for great.
Oh, wow.
I would normally say slam. I would get my mainstream media slam in here. Yeah, that's right. Make noise, be boys. But it's not really MSM. It's the Operation Mockingbird. So really, Stevie, I'm right on the same path with you. If I'm going to go cancel, it's got to be cancel the CIA, which was JFK's original plan to splinter it into 1,000 pieces because they were far too powerful to keep existing through each ongoing regime change. They were always going to have their agenda. And our mainstream media is completely destroyed. Our movies are so filled with propaganda. Everything we do is a recruitment, whether it's UFC for Army for the next false flag war or what have you. They are the ones pushing that agenda and propaganda. So I got to say, for the amount of intelligence opportunities it yields on our chosen enemies for whatever reason, which are backed by, like GGP said, foreign banking interests, Rothschild banks, and that really drives it as well. It's just not worth it in the complete psyop that has been on America since JFK went back into the left.
He didn't know how to bump.
No, he didn't have
Interesting news. Justin French, he lives out there in the Knoxville area. The Knox County Board said that you have to wear a mask in public no matter what. It's not like going to a store or anything. In general, in public, you have to wear a mask. The only person to vote no on that, Glenn Jacobs. Good job, Glenn.
Wow, strong. And I saw it in Miami, $50 fines are going to start handing out too. So now they're not just the fear tactic, they're going to make money off of it. Shocker. Well, oh, dude, it's implemented. We might as well start doing it to do it. And you think about the shit that's going to go down, like just start handing out $50 tickets on people, bro. Like meter maid cops trying to do that shit. Oh, what could possibly go wrong now?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, again, on the news, they just said there are going to be task force enforcement of the social distancing because now everything is upgraded again. There's another surge, and Dr. Fauci is saying we're going to get another 100,000. So now they're doing in California. They are doing task force enforcement. That should be good.
Under the guise of creating jobs. That's what they're going to say. We created jobs. Here's the scary part, because now when you drive in certain states, you don't get pulled over by a cop. They have the sensors for your speed, and you just basically get the ticket mailed to you. You don't even know you sped until you open up your mailbox. Or if it's all digital now, who's to say that the CCTVs and all the cameras everywhere with the 5G towers, all that stuff, they don't just see you. They can detect that you're not wearing a mask. They know who you are with the facial recognition, and you get sent a $50 fine. Or you get it deducted from your credits.
Coming home, there are construction sites in Philly when you get into PA from driving in from Delaware that say that there are electronic recording devices monitoring speed in the construction zone. So it's just automatic. So if you're going over the speed limit and you're going through that zone, it hits you.
And you know what? If all else fails, they're grooming everybody to become a bunch of fucking snitches and Henry Hills out there. You know what I'm saying? And it's a sad day in this country where you have outside forces influencing individuals to become rats, dirty fucking rats, and put their nose in other people's business, thinking they're doing
Dude, this is every
right,
war.
but
This
they're
is
not.
every war. Go watch Washington's Men and watch how they try and flip locals on the patriots of the revolution. You can talk about this with Hitler and people stooging each other off where they're, trying to hide Jews.
Well, that's how Soros made his money, right?
Absolutely. Like, this is the same thing. Again, history repeating itself in a 20-year cycle even where we don't learn from false flags and we get the call to war. So it's not anything new. This story's been told many times, and it's all just the human nature of who the rat is and why the paranoia and fear and loathing sets in, man.
There's nothing worse than a fucking rat. You never.
I am going to make an unpopular statement and say we should right now cancel the 4th of July because this country does not deserve a party. This country deserves to be kicked in its fucking ass and sent the fuck off to go fix what it broke. Because
nothing's broken.
Everything's broken, brother.
Listen, if everything's broken, then nothing's broken.
Nothing's broken, right? And as soon as I fucking walk up the hill and then walk back down the hill to walk back up the hill, then I will find enlightenment. And yeah, the whole fucking thing is broken. It's all fucking.
It's broken. Destroyed. It's a sham now. It's like it's that 1920s, keeping up with the Joneses after the Depression, where everybody thinks you're still wearing your Sunday best, but then they come over and knock on your door and they open and there's nothing, no furniture.
Cinderella Man reference. Yeah, I love it.
Right? There's nothing in there.
Paul Giamatti, right? Pig vomit.
That's it right there, bro.
WNBC.
So watch that in Cinderella Man. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that was almost 100 years ago to the goddamn day that we are right now. And that is the emperor wearing no clothes scenario that really is broken, where sure, I can try and bounce back my business or know how to be a worker and capitalize in the final days. But the reality of that 1980s, class war, and there's an upper class like that. They've destroyed the middle class now. Everybody's a loser. Everybody's dead.
Listen, I know numbers have been going up in certain states, not here in New York as much as other states.
You got to see this conspiracy. You got to see this dirty turnbuckle gift. This motherfucker.
Oh yeah, we saw it. It's tremendous.
Ahead. It's tremendous.
Yes, that looks so good too.
I do. I look goddamn good.
So we know the numbers are going up, but it's been brought to my attention by other people who are agreeing the numbers are going up. But people going into hospitals are not increasing. There's a lot of room in the hospitals. So it's just people are catching the virus, and it's mostly young people who are out and about either protesting or out and about doing vacationing, whatever, or going to the bars.
That's right there. There you go. Okay. On the news, it was reported by source trackers. These are new people. And then when they went to a source tracker, it was some fucking Karen who was like, we all discovered that this was at a bar in Florida. These 6 young people, 2 of which have gotten it. They received up to $2,000 fines because we found that they all were all together for dinner at this bar. So they can now track the source of where it all came from, and they're giving out fines to these young people who all got together. They're all college students, and then they get what I'm just going to frankly say, this hot little college chick to be like, guys, it's not worth it. Everybody stay home. My friend is really sick now. And she was on, and that was her message. Okay, that was her message to us because her friend got sick.
That sounded like Bailey's promo.
I'm sorry, Glenn, go ahead.
That sounded like Bailey's promo on Raw right there. Go ahead.
Listen, the virus has a 99% recovery rate.
No, man.
The reason why everyone is getting sick is because it's a new virus.
Yeah.
Word is that I have it. So I don't want to even hear the word virus. It's the goddamn flu. It's the flu.
This is the Dumb and Dumber line. So there's a 0.0001 chance of dying from the coronavirus. So you're saying there's still a
So you're
chance.
saying there's a chance.
Right. That's kind of what it is. That they've done so many things. I think once again, this is designed. Ben always brings up double speak, double think. How many times do you see them doing what's going on in Seattle or this? Break it down. If you're protesting the lockdown, there you go. If you're protesting the lockdown, you're going to spread COVID. But the chance, and this is literally like verbatim, a study shows that you're more likely to spread COVID when you're protesting a lockdown than when you're protesting with Black Lives Matter. It's an actual study but that's double think, that's double speak, because that makes us say, oh, this doesn't make any sense. I'm out, and you don't pay attention.
Did you guys read that whole thread I had sent on by that dude Forrest Moretti on there? So you can go to @Forrest, Forrest 2 R's MA Ready, Forrest Ma Ready, I guess. It says it's just a mask ? It's just 2 weeks. It's just non-essential businesses. It's just to keep from overwhelming the hospitals. It's just until cases go down more. It's just to keep others from being scared. It's just for a few more weeks. It's just communion or singing. You can still meet. It's just until we can get a vaccine. It's just a few side effects. It's just a bracelet. It's just to let people know you're safe to be around. It's just for the coronavirus vaccine. It's just an app. It's just to let others know who you've been in contact with. It's just a few more months. It's just a video. It's just an email account. It's just for protecting others from hate speech. It's just a few people. It's just a credit card company. You can use cash. It's just a few places that don't take cash. It's just a little chip. It's just for the medical information and paying for things. It's just so you can travel. It's just so you can get your driver's license. It's just so you can vote. It's just a statue. It's just a building. It's just a song. It's just a piece of paper. It's just a flag. It's just a piece of cloth. It's not just a piece of cloth. It's not just a mask.
It's a poem.
It's pretty damn strong.
Yeah, it is.
And there was no one to come for me.
Yeah.
Was that part of the same poem?
That was it, right?
This is the remix version.
Remix. I'll post that if you guys want to see that. It's on my wall already. I just think that is exactly it. It's always just this little move the inch, change the buzzword through Operation Mockingbird, lead them along, slow with the E.T. trail of Reese's Pieces. Like, that's just the whole fucking thing, bro. And over and over and over and over again, these patriotic, fake patriot Nancy Browns keep falling for it. They keep putting it over. They keep going to get tested. They keep, pushing the scenario. Not that it isn't a complete bio attack engineered through Wuhan labs with Obama ties, with Clinton ties, with Biden ties. Absolutely an attack on the world. But who do they run to? They put that shit out there, problem, reaction, solution. So you run right to Google's website where you can get tested, drive up tested at these places. And now we have the app and all your information and all your license plate. And when you come home from travel from these states, you will quarantine for 14 days. Oh, really? Will I? How the fuck are you going to enforce that? You want to swing by on my porch and knock on the fucking front door? You better have a warrant. And you better have a fucking thick vest on. Like, what extremes are you pushing these? It's just whatever the fucks to. That's where we are.
It's a voluntary thing to scare people because you'll get into trouble with, well, there's not going to be any more cops anyway, so who are you going to get in trouble with?
Right.
But then the chip or even your cell phone, the contact tracing part of iOS and Android, they got these things. I told you about the text that my wife and everybody got, that one of the workers was somewhere and it shared her pin on the map, even though she didn't leave a pin. And nobody knew. It was a group text that was created and sent out to all the coworkers. They were not in the group text. It wasn't like a thread like we have. It was created and sent. It was the weirdest thing, and there's no place that I see where that's a trigger with the contact tracing. It's really strange.
When we were in Florida, this is way off that too, but just more of, we're putting in the new bathroom. I searched one thing, tons of direct ads. While we were in Florida, the girls were talking. They were in Walmart buying a bunch of shit, and one of the ladies bought like their groceries behind them, some richer old lady, and not that they had a ton. And she goes, "My husband probably did your boobs to one of the chicks," and they were talking about boob jobs there. It pinpointed them in Sarasota and started bringing up plastic surgery. Nobody searched anything, all based on conversation, bro, and global tracking.
Well,
like
so let me
that deep.
Let me ask this now. So now everybody's going to defund cops, and so New York collapsed like a fucking cookie spine in a glass of milk, and they've cut the budget by $1 million, $1 billion, whatever, $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So now let me ask, what if they turn around and say, okay, these cops will now be the COVID enforcement units? They're not police, but they do have police-like abilities.
They're doing that in LA.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Those task force people. So the cops no longer get this money, but the COVID task force does. And what if those people just are shifted straight over there? Nobody's losing any, especially I'm talking higher government. They're not losing any sleep.
When they deputize them and make them a private Stasi force, exactly, instantly, just like they did with Border Patrol and all that kind of shit. You're 100% right.
And how long before you rent the cop guys who are now down with the adjacent to the police departments all get their freaking egos, and like the TSA guys, they think they're hot shit. You know what I'm saying? And then we start dealing with egos and narcissism and, great power corrupting, absolute power. Absolutely.
And another thing I think we'd see a spike in, and this happened a while in the 90s. I was a part of this, part of that, whatever you call that, industry. Bail enforcement, skip tracing, and things like that. You get a big boost in that when there is lack of law enforcement. So right about the time when they had the LA riots, there was a huge jump in people getting their bail bondsman licenses, badges, whatever state you needed an actual license in, people went and got them. So then they can get carry permits. So then they can get, they can get their concealed permits, and it's all under the guise of I'm doing this for my employment. So again, I feel like you're going to see another big spike in that, because now you're not going to have the police, but you're going to have guys who are saying, well, I'm a bail enforcement agent, and he could wear a badge around his neck and get just as much swagger from that badge as you would being a cop.
Yeah, absolutely. And not have to play by the rules of I need a warrant.
I need a warrant.
This. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. The people that are the real cops have to be completely disenfranchised with the way they've been treated over the past couple months. So now you're going to get the same police force that Chaz has in those 6 blocks in Seattle. You are going to get people that can't handle the power, people that aren't trained properly. If you think the cops aren't trained properly now, whatever's following them with this task force or whatever you want to call it is going to be 100 times worse.
You mean the guys in Chaz who were all those lefties who were and liberals who were crucifying Trump for wanting to build a wall and the Second Amendment with guns? And what's the first thing they do when they take over those city blocks? They build a wall. They all have automatic and semi-automatic machine guns walking around like it's the wild, wild west. And then the Democratic governor over there all of a sudden says, it's okay, nothing. They're just people protesting until they come to her house.
And then all of a sudden it's like, well, you know what? We need to get these criminals off the streets. Somebody can get hurt. So but actually, if I remember correctly, didn't we say that was the deal, Ben? Wasn't that?
100%.
When you go knocking on their door, they're going to call for the cops to come back. They're going to call for the sweep of the streets.
They're children. They're children playing Lord of the Flies Society, and they didn't read Lord of the Flies, bro. Really.
So what's the overarching conspiracy then? Like we're talking about that. This can't just be a bunch. I mean, there's useful idiots. There's a lot more useful idiots in this country that can just go off on their own without even being, even slightly pushed in a certain direction, especially now that everybody's losing all their bread in circuses.
Who's that Stasi force going to be made of? We already looked at the, what was it, USNWO or WeNW? No, USNW.
We NWO or
.org.
I think.
Yeah. And that's World Exchange, not we as a people, I believe. And what are they going to want to do? They'll want to have that force made up of probably some illegals, some, people that they start building these international coalitions. That's the new UN National Guard for world protection, because health of the world is more important than statehood and even republic sovereignty. So this is why we have to, and it's just a check. And then, it's just to, and then what's the next thing? Well, it's just because there's a civil war and we need to have a peacekeeping unit there. It's just to this, that, and the other, man. And
let me tell you, man, just from knowing guys in the fucking reserves, those guys are 100 times more bloodthirsty than any fucking cop. Those guys are waiting for a civil war. Those are the dudes waiting.
And they know that. They want it to be that, dude. They want it to be that because they'll knock down the blue, and then it's people versus what? The American military. I mean, we saw like those protesters, that one video footage, that sniper team going in to go to the roof, and it was like just people out in the street protesting and playing music and shit. But here comes a deployment of dudes carrying full-on gun bags down the middle of the street to go set up. It's just like the reality.
That's the stuff that I thought was. It seems super staged. The people who were playing music and fucking off and being kind of unruly douchey, they had SWAT teams sent to them, and they had the overzealous cops come in and break apart these aid stations, and then you had these assholes who were really fucking shit up and had no intervention whatsoever. So I feel like those were the staged bits.
But there's a 5-man group with serious weaponry, and it only takes one of those guys to follow orders from somebody who wants to fucking light the fuse. That's the thing, like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like you put those. Okay, it's okay. If you take
it's not those people on the ground. It's the problem. It's the light them up and then let's see what they'll do in response to that, because that dedicated group of hitters, they are dedicated to some Soros. Whatever, Blackwater, false flag. They've done this over and over again. They don't care. Out of chaos, they will make more money. They will be their security coalition that they have, that they outsource mercenaries all over the world, is only going to become a more viable option as the American military is marginalized by these deep state players.
It will happen in September.
I think August, end of August.
Yeah, that's right. I'm thinking the heat, between the heat and everything else, that's when people are going to pop. That seems to be the thing, man. Like Summer Sam, that was a whole thing. I feel like that was constructed. I feel like that was engineered to happen at that point. I feel like everybody was everybody was waiting for something to go off. And the tension between that and the heat and just the city and the whole bit, man, I just feel like it was like that. You take a piece of potassium and you put it in a fucking somebody's gutter, and eventually it's not going to happen today or tomorrow, but when it rains and the water hits it, it's going to explode. So
what are they actually going to do with her emails or on that trial? I saw the one about how Obama was tied to it, but how can we as independent journalists even get the questions out there to be like, what's up with Anthony Weiner's laptop and how does this tie into it? How is the bigger look in who is even captaining or quarterbacking these investigations to hold their feet to the fire? Because it just seems like it's so either kept under wraps or not. Like Wiener's back out again, right? Like how is this even possible and probable with the dead maid stuffed down the goddamn garbage chute?
It's just too much. It's just too much for a regular person or anybody who's trying to. You got to pick your battles, and right now people don't even know what battle to even pick. I sent you guys that video. I forget the guy who got interviewed. It was about the Great Reset.
I watched it today.
Yeah,
we're so far. I mean, we've been kicking this can, but GGP could speak on this from the Federal Reserve. We've been kicking this can down the road for decades and decades and decades. I mean, way back, this was going to come due no matter what, financially, economically. I mean, it would take a minimum of 10 years, they said, at the point when it started. Like, who knows how long, if it could even recover. People, I think now, everything is so fucked up. People can't get jobs. People's unemployment will start running out. The housing market's going to crash before the end of the year because that moratorium's going to be up. Much less people aren't going to be able to pay their rent because they think 6 months free rent. No, you're 6 months back rent. That's what's going on. That's why I think you get people to a point, whoever's designing this or trying to experiment with it, we get people to that point where they're begging for the chip, begging for a UBI, begging to be part of the welfare state, because you're going to explain to them saying, well, it'll take 10, 20. You only go through 10 years minimum of pain and suffering for this economy to properly reset. How many people do you think are going to say, chip me, bro, give me the UBI card, I'll be a good little boy and girl and wear my mask?
80,
that's what you're going to get. That's the reset. Or Trump is so bad, we need a one world government to watch the U.S. If he gets reelected, I see that thing even being pushed up.
GGP, what are you seeing?
Civil war.
How? What's that look like?
It looks like a bunch of confused people, not knowing what to believe, not knowing what truth really is, and just taking everything at face value and not thinking for themselves and picking a side. And we'll have, if Trump wins, they could storm the White House. I mean, it's not far-fetched. If the markets, if he does win and people start rioting because he wins, that can obviously affect the stock markets. They'll tank. If Biden wins, they'll still tank.
Do you think we're going to get there? Is there something that's going to kick off in August to distract, but so we don't even get to that, though?
Unless Planet X comes in for the hot save, I don't know, bro. I mean, it could
literally
you mean
be
Trump would do it? You mean Trump would make sure that he's guaranteed to stay?
I see you've got Team Clinton / Epstein / Carlos Danger, all of them, Obama's tied in, staying real small and real silent right now. And doesn't that tell the whole tale wrestling wise? Right? That's what we would be doing if they were headhunting us. We wouldn't be putting shit out, trying to do whatever, because they know it's fucking coming. So to me as a worker, that says, all right, this is how serious it is, because they're not out there like trying to get their shine on. And they're going to the bushes for that shine to go against Trump. I've seen a lot of that. So the Dems are laying low because they're afraid they're going to get fucking hung out. We already heard her say if they even knew half of whatever, they'd hang us, right? Like Hillary Clinton's words alone.
Well, I just want to add, you reminded me of the emails thing. On Norton now, again, Stevie said this is far beyond the capability of comprehension of a normal everyday average person.
Mm-hmm.
I was having that conversation, and I said, this is pretty weird of all this stuff going on. And they said, just show me where she was even on trial. So I had my phone. I was like, let me Google it up, because I happened to be there, and nothing. And all it is was Hillary Clinton brought up on trial? False. Everywhere. Fact checker, PolitiFact, all of it never happened.
What do you mean, recently in June?
Yes, like
that's bullshit.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Papa Don.
That's how powerful and hardcore Google is tied in to all of this, bro. And that was with COVID checking.
And say Hillary Clinton trial, and it'll send you back to like 2017 when this came, and then it's like nothing. And I had nothing to show, and I'm like, it was so far in past in our conversation in our chat, I couldn't even find it. And I'm like, you know what? If that's what if I got to show you something online in order for you to prove it to you, okay, well then I guess I can't prove it to you.
Yeah, my prediction is it's got to go down in August. The Civil War thing.
What do you got?
On Politico, appeals court moles making Hillary Clinton testify in emails. This was dropped. When was this published? 6/2/2020. As federal appeals court grappled on Tuesday with political charge dispute, the long ago faded from the headlines. One of the most urgent and politically polarizing legal fights for the moment seemed to lurk just below the surface. Official topic of Tuesday's arguments before the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals was Hillary Clinton's bid to avoid giving an in-person deposition to a conservative group about the subject that dodged her during her 2016 presidential bid. Her use of a private email account and server during her tenure as Secretary of State. However, some of the comments by judges and attorneys on Tuesday called to mind the ongoing battle royal over the Justice Department's effort to abandon its prosecution of Michael Flynn, President Donald Trump's first national security advisor, on false statement charge. Despite Flynn's guilty plea in the case, both the Clinton deposition dispute and the Flynn case embargo involved an obscure type of legal mechanism that is not currently a household word, but may soon be, at least in Washington. Mandamus, Mandamus. It's a process that can be used to force a judge's hand when an ordinary appeal isn't available for some reason or just won't do the trick. None of the lawyers or judges explicitly mentioned Flynn on Tuesday, but as the participants jousted over Clinton's request, at least some seem to be offering arguments shaped by the blockbuster fight over the attempt to unwind the guilty plea that Flynn offered to special counsel Robert Mueller's prosecutors more than 2 years ago. While the Justice Department weighed in on Monday with a full-throated endorsement of Flynn's mandamus petition to shut down his prosecution, the department essentially sat on hands after Clinton and her longtime aide, Cheryl Mills, filled similar petitions to block depositions that a judge ordered at a request of the conservative group Judicial Watch. Last month, this thing keeps going on, dude. I don't want to wait.
Right, but it doesn't. But that's the thing. It doesn't say that she's going to have to give that deposition. So, like, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for where we had just read it. We went over it that she was called back and she has to give this deposition.
Yeah,
and then
September.
To now try to find it, it's impossible. Well, not impossible. I'm not going to say impossible. It wasn't possible for me to find it in that moment. And I was just like, and it literally, and the person who I was arguing with, I wasn't arguing, I was just talking with them. The person I told was kind of like, well, there's a lot of conspiracy theories online. And I'm like, oh, the minute you say that, I'm done. It's out. It's out of my system. It's not worth it to me because now I don't want to convince you. Like, just smarten up and go look. And they're not, because now they're happy knowing, well, he already looked and you couldn't find it. So fuck it. So I just, so it's over and done with. But like I said, it was wiped and then been, mentioning the emails again. I completely forgot about it until just now.
I just wonder what this.
I just found something else. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
Here we go. USA Today, fact check. Hillary Clinton was not in court June 2nd, testifying about child sex trafficking. No, that's misleading. She was on court, just said June 2nd, in appealing her case with the emails. Nothing to do with child sex trafficking, but in this other metro.co.uk, will Hillary Clinton have to testify in court? What's the latest on the leaked email scandal? Blah, 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 blah. Where does it say? Right. It says it right here. I just read it in the summary, but I'm not trying to find it in the article.
A lot of clickbait garbage.
Hold on.
Why is it, the point is, why is this so goddamn difficult to find?
She is set to appear in court on September 9th, 2020. So 9/9/2020.
Yeah.
We need to be on boots on the ground there or something, man, to like try and just see what the climate is.
Quarantine. They're gonna have a quarantine right before.
Yeah, everybody will be locked down, so there's no chance of
anybody seeing shit, right? So It's got to be a digital attack. The Civil War thing, I don't see any other way either, GGP, but I don't see how that. It's not a north-south Mason-Dixon boundary line, It's neighborhood by neighborhood, house by house case, and then it becomes under martial law because of the other thing. So is it like, okay, they amp up red versus blue, but then it has to strike back against green, the military, because that's the only place they can because of how we're being locked down. And now legit Nazi knock on your door status, and you're gonna take this vaccine and you're gonna get chipped and you're gonna, like, that's a big lead up, man, into what's happening. And I don't see American soldiers towing the line against American citizens doing that. So we'd have to move into the New World Order scenario very quickly.
Well, they did take an oath in the military, right? They have to follow orders, right? JFK was kiboshed.
Yeah, but they also say all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And they also say that you can't accept an order that's unconstitutional or anything against any kind of law.
That's why they won't. That's why they won't use them. They'll have a new force with a new set of laws that are universal for the world, in order to be able to do that kind of shit. And they'll probably take, and through one stroke of the pen, take X amount of U.S. forces and transfer them into that as well.
What was the gimmick? The name of the operation that they were going to shoot U.S. citizens, and JFK put an end to it right before he got assassinated. Remember, they were going to blame it on Cuba. And
there was Northwoods with the drone.
Northwood, yes.
That's the drone.
Yeah. Okay, so if that was to happen, where they were going to kill U.S. citizens back in the 60s, you don't think they'll implement the military to fight people or shoot people, or even if it's Soros funded, they get some freaking black ops, sniper guys, or mercenaries just to spark the fuse on the powder keg that is the United States.
But then who fights? What is the fight like?
Everybody who's a liberal and considered a leftist and extremist versus everybody who's on the more conservative right side of the scale. So it'll be more an ideal civil war incorporated with race and gender than territorial civil war. And that's a scary part, because if you don't agree with a certain ideal, you're automatically an enemy of said state or said side. And that is disturbing within itself, because you could be best friends with your neighbor, but if your neighbor thinks a certain way and you know the guy 10, 20 years and you think differently, this guy's going to drop dime on you. This guy's going to call the cops on you, and they're going to come to your house. And I'm telling you, bro, this is what it's going to come down to. Look, man, today, okay, I'm not putting people on blast, but I brought the scenario to you where someone had to get over on someone else's expense that was totally two different scenarios, right? And these people who got ratted out on may now lose their jobs. They may be penalized. They may get fired. They have families to feed. But because this other individual wanted to get his shit in and try to get his shine on social media, woe is me, look at me, I'm an attention whore. You know, not starting any trouble, but you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
That's exactly what's going to happen now. Exactly what's going to happen when people don't agree with certain scenarios.
Is happening in grocery stores across America.
Even worse, to the point where it's going to end up being there's no cops to protect anybody, so everyone's going to be at each other's throats, and it's going to be like the Wild Wild West. Defend yourself.
There won't be any judgment scenarios. It'll be rendition centers where you get stooged off and they legit do the V for Vendetta, pull you out of bed in the middle of the night and you're unpersoned.
Yes, sir.
I was going to say too that I think because cities are where all this trouble is currently happening and not looking like it's going to get any better anytime soon. That's where we thought, well, there's no way Agenda 21 could be on schedule. It sure as hell looks like it's on schedule now, because that's part of the thing of condensing people within cities.
Well,
which is
Agenda 21 Agenda 2021?
Well, that's what I meant. I thought it was originally supposed to be 2021.
I didn't know that it was named for a date that, like, to get it to that point. I thought it was just
they had
called
said
Agenda 21 or
yeah,
whatever.
they were starting to call it Agenda 2030.
Okay.
And now, like, because they didn't think all the conspiracy people or people that were analyzing it said there's no way that they would ever be able to get that plan in motion fast enough to make 2021. But like I said, now it looks like you got two different things going on. We drive out of Atlanta and go up into the Georgia mountains. You wouldn't even know this stuff is going on. People are relaxed or laid back. They've been prepping all this stuff and canning food. They got their guns. Everything's good. Those are places where if these people, these protesters, or anybody that thinks they want to get cute, they're not stupid enough to go up into the mountains. That's why you're going to have, what was that thing before? Like, you're not going to have states, but you're going to have certain territories, kind of like FEMA regions.
Yeah.
You're going to have these territories, though, where the militias or the people, and you don't go here like Papa.
Well, there's the free zone, and if you go back to what's the movie Red Dawn, like there's the free zone of America, and then there's occupied.
Well, here's the scary part too. When's it gonna? Is it gonna get to a point too where, I don't know, one airline is conservative and the other is liberal, and the liberals try to bomb the conservative flight, like you start having domestic terrorism, crazy shit like that, man.
Antifa's already labeled terrorist organization.
What about that shit? Well, what we need
That's
to do
false.
is fucking label George Soros as a fucking terrorist and freeze his assets. But what about that chick today on TikTok, some kind of graduate student or something like that from like an Ivy League school, was saying that if anybody who's not wearing a mask, she's going to stab him. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She said if someone says all lives matter, she's going to stab him. And some shit like that. It's like, really, dude? This is where it's come down to? If you don't think like I think, then I'm going to take...
Yes, that's exactly it.
But it's ridiculous.
The thing is right there needs to be, we know where she is, we know who she is, and you walk up when she's outside and go, all lives matter, and have a knife in your hand and put them to the test of what they think. When it comes to a liberal versus, conservative war, that makes me laugh on the inside because they might act, all I think of is the stage Trump girl, no, afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I think about my Uncle Bert, who's got 300 long rifles and over 30,000 rounds of ammo. And no way are they strapped up like that where he could arm the whole fucking county if he wanted to,
But like, here's the thing. You see something like this and like, okay, so you just gave your Uncle Bert as the example. So that's going to be great. And like, that's cool. And those people are covered. What hurts, what really is upsetting, people that we've all known for years, like Papa Don, like you said, you could have known this neighbor, you could know him for years. This guy could have been your buddy. You could have been at his kid's, when his kid was born, you could have drove his wife to the hospital, whatever the deal is. And again, personally, there are people that I've known for 30 years, a guy who was in the military, like hardcore military, always been a patriot, has always been there for parades or whatever else, any kind of donations to Wounded Warrior. This guy did. And he, one of the things that was just pointed out to me, that he made a post of somebody with the whole, if you say all lives matter, you're part of the problem. And if you are a Trump supporter, you're part of the problem. If you're supporting the police, you're part of the problem. Are you kidding me? Like this dude, like you were a soldier. You served. And
are you talking about Hayes or somebody else?
I'm talking about somebody else.
Okay, because Hayes is going off constantly, bro. And that's the thing. They're doing this to people who already love them in their timeline and like unfriend me if you don't fucking believe all these things like these.
Right.
Like, well, how safe is that to be doing that in your own? That's like screaming. Like throwing a party and then screaming at all of your guests. Like, like if you really want to do it, you got to join the conversation outside of Facebook, which is your own personal diary that people get to read. Like they have these big grandiose visions of change, but they're in such a confined bubble that they've made for themselves. They don't even realize that it's their own echo chamber, man.
It's pretty amazing that these kind of people have such strong opinions like Hayes or the David Stars or everything like that. But you said it when you're on Ballin' Show, pay the $110, get a Podbean account and have a platform. Why are you, if you feel that strongly, why are you half-assing it?
Good friend of mine. I care about him. I care about him and I love him. And I sent him the message, hey dude, open platform. You want to come talk about this shit? You seem fired up. My platform's a bit more global than his personal Facebook. No response. Okay.
They can't deal with an opposing opinion or a possible question about how they feel.
Just want to give you the opportunity to speak so I can understand what I'm not understanding. I'm not here to
They're
fucking.
Not interested in that.
I'm not here to fucking be like, fuck what you think, bro.
They're not interested in having that. They're not interested in having that conversation. You either have to go, yeah, brother, I'm with you, or you're against them. Flat out. That's how it is.
Like if you're part of the problem, then you say, why am I part of the problem? See, that's the stuff that's why. And you're like, what? It's really right, Papa Nine. It's like they'll keep saying these blanket statements, and then when you want a detailed explanation, they get more fired up. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
You're
Like,
never going to get it, man. You're part of the problem.
Listen, that's exactly what a little kid would do when you ask him, why did you spill the juice on the rug? Oh, quiet. I don't want to talk about it. Or why'd you hit your brother? And I'm not talking for my kids because my kids are angels. Yeah, right. Right. But why'd you hit your brother? He hit me. Or he'll, and then they'll throw a fit. Oh, be quiet. Just be quiet. You don't understand. Really? That's your comeback?
Why are you picking on me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is exactly the mentality that these people have. And it's on both ends. It's not just left. It's also right. It's not liberal. It's also conservative. If you're too far on the spectrum on either side, it's not healthy. You need to have an open mind. You need to have some sort of logic. You need to have some sort of understanding of that the world is a give and take relationship, and everything can't just be simply black and white. It's not about Democratic or Republican. If you already put yourself down in that bucket, you done lost the battle because you've already been brainwashed. At the end of the day, it's about America. It's about making life better for our children. It's better making the planet better moving forward. And it's about having everybody together in unison. And
I don't know what America you're in. America's about that's the American dream. America's about consumption, more right now, instant gratification, me, give me my shine.
Hold on, yeah.
And I want to be I want to be famous at any fucking cost right now.
That's because of this nonsense that's come out, because it's been implemented because of all the power and access they have at people's fingers.
That shit was going on in the 90s though. Before that, we were hooked on that, and that's because of cable TV selling that.
And that was another can that got kicked down the road, because when this virus hit, I was hoping people would get perspective and be like, maybe people, nobody's going to save anybody. Think about saving money or storing food or living within their means. Maybe I need to downsize because I could lose my job at any time. This is crazy. Dude, people are shopping more than ever. It's like the end. It literally, people are like, there is no tomorrow. I'll just buy whatever I need today.
And they're stuck at home. At Lowe's, things are sold out. I'm redoing the bathroom. Dude's telling me things are sold out at Home Depot. People, I go, oh, they're spending $1,200 check. He goes, I think they'd spent that already. They're just spending because there's nothing else to do. They can't go anywhere, and they're even doing that at home. So everyone's just going and buying to stay at home and do home improvement shit that they can't even afford.
Yep.
If their interest rates are low, I'll be there at the end of the year waiting.
It says, though, I wanted to go back to this point in the chat. TikTok is owned by one of China's most elusive billionaires and is linked to a heavily censored and surveilled app called Douyin. Douyin, it looks like, but Douyin. And yeah, surprise. Not like Facebook isn't stripping and information and listening in real time with IP tracking, but all this shit where they wanted to make it popular, the cute sing along and with whatever little song you like and twerk with it. The reality of what it is another fucking sycophantic app that preys on exactly that, the ego and the fucking need for some quick viral video, 15 seconds of fame. Shit, it actually went from 15 minutes, Andy Warhol, to 30 seconds of fame now is enough for people. That's what we've gotten to. And
look at
of course, it's a Trojan horse. It's a Trojan horse completely. Go ahead.
Look at the husband and wife who came out when the protesters were marching in their rich neighborhood, and they didn't want their property to get destroyed. And the guy comes out with the automatic rifle, and the wife comes out with the little handgun. They're like meme queen and king now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it Karen and Todd?
All they got to do is fucking put out the T-shirts on their own website, and that's a fucking $1 million in a week before they get off going viral, bro.
But here's the distraction with that. They're going to get charged. So now people are like, I can't believe they're getting charged. Such a double stand. And that's another distraction that's set in place with that. I was going to say, remember when real quick, remember when the politician got laughed at for like cutting the heel promo on TikTok, the congressperson, and everybody laughed like, what are you talking about TikTok for? Did that motherfucker know something that we didn't know at the time?
Right. Like they get the briefing that this is going to be the hot app that's going to be able for us to spy on everyone.
It was a spy app.
Yeah, absolutely. A spy app. Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody, he became a meme when he said that stupid shit we thought was stupid.
One thing I wanted to check in on, we switch gears as we start to, see the finish line here in the next 25 minutes or so. GGP had sent, and we had talked JFK earlier. Another looked like an awesome mob stooge off. I hadn't gotten to see
Wasn't
yet.
me. It was Stevie. He sent.
Stevie sent that. All right.
I just fell down the hole hard.
I definitely, please smarten me up, and as we had the JFK stooge off last year, which ended up giving us more information about Hitler possibly being alive and UFOs than it did anything about JFK's fucking assassination. Here we have more and more mob guys on YouTube be going viral themselves and being the rats from Gotti era to even Colombo crime family to whatever it is, man. And here's another guy talking about what looked in the headlines, their involvement in the JFK assassination. Please smarten me up.
Steve, you want to take care of this, or you want me to?
Go ahead. Yeah, I forgot the names and stuff. All I know is that the Kennedys were connected to the mafia, and the mafia did help JFK get elected. And then
Absolutely.
that's something that fell sideways after that.
Well, they were Irish mob bootleggers, so yeah.
Well, that's where it all begins during Prohibition. The guy, what's his name? Joe Kennedy and Frank Colombo made millions of dollars, which is now today's money. It equates to billions, and they made a ton of money together to the point where they groomed their son to get elected, right? So, what happens was he gets elected. They were supposed to get going to Cuba, and the Paisans were supposed to get Vegas back and get all their casinos back, right? With all the scenarios that happened with the unions and the money laundering and the money stealing to build Vegas from the unions and all this stuff. Everything was going to be cleared and everything was going to be business as usual and just move on the right foot forward because they helped get JFK in office. Well, what happens is he puts his brother, Robert Kennedy, into DA position. And instead of doing the right thing, and that's taking care of the people that took care of you to get where you need to get, he went after the people hard and did a heel turn, did a big swerve, and the mob teamed up with the CIA and they took out JFK. And he says he knows the shooters. His name is Gianni Russo, Gianni, last name Russo, Russo. No, maybe related to Vince. I don't know, but he says that the Oswald was one of the shooters, but they didn't touch Kennedy. He was a patsy that they blamed it on. The shooter was the guy who was in the sewage drain that shot him down and underneath, and that was the alleged magic bullet that bounced around. But I fell down the hole because as he's telling this story, he tells another story and then another story how he was how they killed Marilyn Monroe because Marilyn Monroe knew too much. She was banging JFK. She was banging Robert. She had an abortion because Robert got her pregnant. And she had enough because JFK said he was going to leave his wife and all this stuff. And obviously he wasn't going to leave his wife when he's president because that's bad publicity. So she was getting frustrated. So they ended up taking her out by injecting oxygen or some kind of, they hired some kind of doctor that injected oxygen, too much oxygen into her system that ended up killing her through her pubic hair area where you couldn't see the puncture wound from the needle.
You know then it looks like a heart attack.
Yeah. So... Right. So he tells that, and then he tells how he got, he caught beef with Pablo Escobar, and Pablo Escobar put a hit on his Italian family, and not his Italian family, his entire family, his real family, and he went down to where Pablo was at Colombia to go talk, and Pablo ended up torturing him for a little bit, and then finds out that he's the actor who played Carlo in The Godfather and marked out because he's a big Godfather mark, and that saved his life. And he talked about how he was close to Marilyn Monroe and he banged Marilyn Monroe when he was 15 years old and all these elaborate stories. But the way the guy tells the story, dude, I want to sit down and have a drink with this guy and just listen to him all night.
Yeah, we're going to reach out, try and get Gianni Rossi on there.
Fantastic. So I want to thank Stevie for sharing that link, dude. It was awesome.
The whole story about, some of the art stuff seems like he's just sitting down telling stories in the locker room.
Yeah.
JFK one had a totally different feel. Like the art stories I watched, the Kennedy ones, those two Kennedy ones had a completely different feel and tone. Just the worker in me who's trying to sniff out the bullshit, like the Escobar stuff and the art stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's just kind of like talking like the little bit of name dropping. This was more logistical, how he told the story.
He wasn't there because he was on a boat allegedly going somewhere. And he was
they sent him on a cruise, and everybody got off the cruise, and he was there with all the women.
Yeah, and he was there, and he was away from the country, from the USA, for like 22 months or something like that. Yeah. So he heard over the loudspeaker that he got shot, not knowing he was dead. The next day he found out or later on he found out JFK was murdered. So, but he knew that something went down because he had to relay a message. He went from one hitter, or one family boss guy, to another, and he passed the message, and the message was, "It's on." That's all. And he goes, "That's it." And he goes, "He'll know exactly what the message means." So if we get him on the show, we'll get him to elaborate. But I'm telling you, like literally, this guy can sit at a campfire and sell a freaking Eskimo an igloo. That's how good his storytelling tactics are. You know, he's very entertaining.
And that part of those two parts of the same story, though, when he was telling and joking around about the women on the cruise, and he had the women all to himself, that's where I saw that the tone of that compared to telling the events, what was different and had more of a seriousness to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had polio as a little kid.
Oh, wow.
And then he became friends with Frank Sinatra. I mean, this guy had some life, some fucking life. Like, it's so outrageous that it can't be made up. You know what I mean?
Sorry. Was he the one who used to drive Sinatra's car?
Well, I don't know.
I think that's another dude. That's another guy you're talking. Yeah.
Have you ever heard that one?
Yeah, I just watched that one like a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah, he used to park Sinatra's car at the restaurant. Is that the same dude?
No, it's not. It's not the same guy. It's not. Okay. But all these ex-mobsters are speaking out, man. This is on DJ Vlad TV. It's like a 12-part breakdown.
And maybe it's because I'm watching The Sopranos all over again, starting with season 1. Now I'm in GGP mob mode right now.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So
if it isn't Wu-Tang on in the background, it's Trailer Park Boys or Sopranos. That's just it in my life at this point, bro.
Well, you don't like Sopranos, Sal?
No, I love Sopranos. It's a Trailer Park Boys. I tried so hard.
People, they're the best, man. I'm down. One other thing I'd seen in our chat, or it got passed through, maybe via my Twitter, mysterious Jeffrey Epstein statue found in downtown Albuquerque. So it looks like a bronze statue that WWE would do, you know, for somebody. But really, they just this collective group of artists took a mannequin and made it look like that, like a bronze statue. And at the foot plate, they put all of the Jeffrey Epstein court cases, and they left it right in front of the city courthouse. But it's in New Mexico, and isn't that where he was like trying to do his eugenics, where he was going to have 1,200 kids and all that shit, man? I think there's more that we need to look into in New Mexico there. And was it New Mexico where that guy was set up outside the camp? What was the camp where it was supposed to child trafficking going on there?
That was in
what was that? You know what I'm talking about. The guy set up looking.
It's the chemical, not Dow Chemical.
Right. Was that in New Mexico though, Sal?
Yes. Yeah. It was the cement plant, but it has the same name as the cookware. It's in New York, Ben. What's the name of the fucking place?
Corning.
No, it was Corning. And I think it might be the same thing, but it was a cement plant. Mm-hmm. And that guy put himself up on that water tower and just waited there for like 48 hours before they made him leave.
Yep. And they came back again. And then they were saying it was child trafficking and human trafficking going through there. Now, you got that in New Mexico, plus the Jeffrey Epstein possible cult that really hasn't been exposed. There's got to be some connection in there with moving people through New Mexico. And I got to believe,
that was the place owned by the Clintons. They had stock in that.
Yeah. And shit, where's I go? Oh, where does the cartel figure into that? Got to be, right ties, direct ties.
Tunnel, because there are no tunnels.
No, never that. But a good shot to like. These are what we're trying to do is keep. I like that as artists using their power to keep the views on things that need to have the light shined on them, and that's what we're trying to do with this show as we head to September. Because look at, as Sal said, the web being scrubbed from anything Clinton-wise, and we know that there's a September date in court coming up, and all the civil war and all the distraction that's going on around us is going to get amped up. and to not buy into it and be one of the last free independent media thought airwaves where we're not just trying to fan the flames and say, well, we say fuck these people all the time, or fuck fans, but like we're not trying to say go and do this damage because of X reason, that they're going to absolutely keep pushing towards. And will July 4th, this weekend, be some type of Antifa attack, as what I'm wondering, man?
Number one, I hope not. I really don't. I really do hope
a
that
false
nothing happens.
flag Antifa attack, I'll say.
Probably.
Right.
I just want to throw out some food for thought out there, and I mean, you guys know what I'm about to say, and you're going to agree with me. But statues went down today about Christopher Columbus in Columbus, Ohio. A statue of Abraham Lincoln because there was a slave, I guess, child kneeling in the statue.
It's a man, but yeah.
Oh man, or whatever. I don't know. I didn't get the full gist of it, but
they took
that
flags down.
Right? They did all this because of slavery. Well, let me ask you this: if this is all coming down, are we going to take down the pyramids? Because the pyramids were built by slaves. Are we going to break down?
Well, nobody's protesting them yet.
Not yet. Well, that's what I'm saying. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Look, man, every ethnicity in the book has been a slave at one point in time. The Jews, the Irish, the Greeks, the blacks, everybody.
Well, they solved all that with Arab Spring.
America was to England.
Yeah, everybody. Now, I'm not saying that slavery, it's okay. It's the worst thing, I would say, and one of the worst things, probably the worst thing this country had ever had to endure in its history in its short amount of time. Do I feel like protesting Black Lives Matter is wrong? No, I'm all for the protest. Am I for the graffiti and the vandalization? No, absolutely not. Because, that doesn't solve anything. That just adds fuel to the fire. And that's just my opinion. But again, everyone's entitled to have theirs. But again, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Meaning that if we're going to do one thing on one side, then we got to do it across the entire board. But are we? Or are we just going to be the flavor of the month? What about all the children and the people that were shot in Chicago this past weekend? Where's Black Lives Matters for that?
Well, there was 104 the weekend before. What was the number last weekend?
It could have been.
It had to be right around that again.
Something like that, bro. And that's a no-gun state, right? Now we're going to have no people stopping non-violent crimes with coming to your house, and they're non-violent like they're doing in L.A. They just took out the police. There's no police squad anymore in Minneapolis and Minnesota. So what's going to happen? Are we going to have the same scenario in state to state where people are going to be upset and then someone's going to make a U-turn, come out of their car with Wolverine claws, and they're going to be like, oh, shit, call the cops. Like, come on,
well,
man.
Did you hear what they did, though?
What?
No, the city council got private security.
No, of course
they did.
And who's paying for that?
We are.
I can't imagine who.
What do you guys think about the story that dropped? And this is bigger Cold War stuff, and I'm just looking at distraction scenarios as a manager for Jump Up stuff. The story that the Russians were paying the Taliban since 2014 to do hits on American soldiers like that.
Yeah, they're paying bounties
in U.S. cash, which means they either have tons of liquidity or they're printing their own U.S. money. And why would a Taliban know what the difference between?
So now we have counterfeit money
and going
through
hits.
currency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we pretty much trained Bin Laden and everybody back there to do the same thing against Russia back in the 80s.
The Mujahideen, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, why, like Papadon said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. They're using our own tactic against us. I'm not saying God forbid, I mean, I don't want anybody to die or do anything like that, but we were doing the same thing when we trained Bin Laden and his group to go after Soviets.
Yeah, ex-butcher saying here, does the CIA give Russia the cash to give to the Taliban? Like operate.
And it's not traceable then.
Yeah, the CIA operating outside of it to keep the war going because the war machine run by Cheney, Rumsfeld, and whatnot still want to keep capitalizing. Now we're back to the Eisenhower speech before JFK, right?
Well, it's the only thing keeping the country going.
Yeah,
economically. There's nothing else. We have nothing else but war that makes money. That's the only thing that profits.
You're right.
Am I off on that? Or
No, you're absolutely right on that, dude. And we see, Northrop Grumman or Lockheed gets new missile contract. Well, for what? For what? To use it for what on who? And it's things like these.
Allow me to say that when I was in Florida, I drove past that Lockheed place daily. That was in the height of lockdown when I drove down to Florida, right? That was the height of lockdown. That parking lot was constantly full. It was never closed.
That's an interesting thing. And when I said who I canceled, the CIA in having their hands in all that, corrupting everything, that is you would think, oh, it's an American institute. Well, they will fire up our enemies to go to their black ops, you know what I mean? Fire up Russia, give them the money to push that front, to push to the military. And the CIA, you'd think they care about the military, but they don't give a fuck. They're the ones who are going to make the money off of selling more weapons, and, you know, more time there on the ground means more money for them. A constant police state for Afghanistan.
Listen, money makes the world go round, and it's the truth. It's the root of all evil. It's the reason why we have problems in this world.
What makes it go flat?
What?
What makes the world go flat, though?
Stevie Richard Fitness, 16-week flat abs, flat Earth program.
Awesome.
But what I'm
it's 166 weeks or 33 weeks. I'm trying to figure out which.
33 and a third weeks.
So here's the deal, dude. The CIA got busted bringing drugs into this country during the drug war, right? The LA guy, the LA police guy, broke kayfabe, and look what they did to his life, right? CIA trains terrorists all over the world. Whenever an ally to us, they're an ally to us. And when we don't need them anymore, guess what? They get replaced, and they get blamed for shit, and we go after them. It's not the first time. It's not the last time. The CIA killed the president. The CIA lied about, the Gulf of Tonkin incident. They were willing to kill innocent civilians in Operation Northwoods. And this is leaked CIA government
all of the Ukraine shit that went down during Obama's time with the Russia stuff, right? All that was.
And if you sit back and you say, well, no, the CIA works for the United States. Well, and they will never partner up with our enemies, yeah? How about Operation Paperclip that brought all the Nazis here to the United States of America, and they started working with NASA?
Or made NASA. NASA wasn't developed until they came.
Well, yeah, they made NASA. It was called something else before. I forgot what the acronym was. But you know what I'm saying? It's been done. It's the same spot over and over again. They're just working the loop, working the same match over and over and over again. And that's it. And we keep falling for it.
Well, did you guys see? Did you watch the video they dropped there? The new CIA recruitment video?
Oh, yeah.
I put it in the chat. It's like your friendly neighborhood CIA. We're looking for good people to rat. And we're looking for good analysts.
Well, we know a few rats, don't we, Ben?
Yeah.
Well, the famous story from Jesse. I know. I just.
Oh, you guys should have seen. You should have seen him get hot. His camera was going out yesterday on Russo. Brad, look at how hot he's getting right now. Just talking.
Was it an LG camera?
Dude, it was so pixelated. It looked like the old Sledgehammer video where it's all claymation. Like he was that pixelated, and he had to keep dropping out and going back in because his apartment complex was on fire, and the internet signal might have been affected by that. But he still couldn't take it. The camera tech woes were destroying him, bro.
So I debuted webcam Newton. I also debuted the 360p resolution, and then after that was DQ blurry. They all made their debuts.
Jesse Ventura.
When Jesse Ventura became governor of Minnesota, there's that famous story he told. They took him down basically into the bowels of the building, of the Capitol building or whatever, and he had all these people surrounding him, like looking like moms, dads, brothers, sisters, just regular people. It was the CIA operating within the United States, and he had asked that question, and they like kind of no-sold it, but it was like grandma, grandpa, like you said, it's friendly neighborhood CIA people. You don't, and that just amplifies everything we talked about earlier about now stooge on your neighbor, stooge on your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife. Oh, you want to be part of the CIA? You want to get paid to stooge people off, get benefits, all that, dude. It's bad.
that video was just like, wow, we're that like uncloaked about it at this point. You know what I mean? And especially going into this spring with election, like you might get fast tracked in 6 weeks and inserted in as a, protester or whatever it is, just to be boots on the ground getting paid. Because if Antifa is getting paid by Soros to do that kind of stuff, CIA is going to want their people in there just as much to keep trying fanning the flames and see what the hell's really going on, man. It's I think they're going to be behind a lot of this shit that is the sparks that 5-man assault team, that crazy dude in Louisville that may be an agent provocateur, the next dude who runs their car through a goddamn protest like they did in Charleston, the next cop who fucking
they just passed the law.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go for it.
They just passed some kind of law. I forgot which state it was. That if you're being harassed in protest, or you feel it's a violent situation that's turning violent, or hitting your car, that they're trying to break you, and you can put your foot on the gas and run people over, you will not get prosecuted by the law.
Oh.
So it's pretty much, let's go play
open season
Carmageddon in Vice City. Like everything
man.
they've been preparing for, and then it's just flip the switch off, and some unstable meth head motherfucker is going to do something stupid, and that'll be the reason to problem, reaction, solution. Come to Big Daddy, we got you.
Pretty much.
We had great views and on Hameen Media Group. I want to say shout out to Kaz and El Plaja, getting big numbers over on our Instagram with more viral video. As things get deleted, we're compiling them and putting them out in small clips, and it's getting more and more popular. If you haven't followed on Instagram at Hameen Media Group, those guys are doing great work over there to keep our eyes on UFOs in Miami to Brazil, everything that's going on all over the place. And who sent the 70 lightning strikes gimmick there? We've seen a lot of these UFO things happening where you see the orbs descending and then big lightning strikes in these clouds that look like cover for a mothership from 4th of July or Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
I got my own theory regarding the.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
It's it's all a coincidence.
Yeah.
That it was hot as balls here in New York the last 10 days, and all of a sudden it's been 4 days of nonstop shitty weather, right? And now we get 70 lightning strikes in a matter of a half an hour down in New York City today. And yet, what was it, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we find out that sunlight kills the coronavirus? The UV lights?
You're talking HARP then? You're talking specific HARP?
Could be that. I mean, when we first were in quarantine.
Chemtrailing and they missed it?
When we first got locked up here in New York in the beginning of March, right, middle of March, the weather was shitty for the first 2 weeks where it was all raining, and that's when and it was really spiking then, right? Because you can't go outside, you can't leave your house. So maybe it's a coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. Okay. So I don't know, just a theory.
No, I'm with that, man. It's definitely some suspect weather, and they tried to do, what was it last week? The fear porn. The dust storm is coming across, sandstorm that will destroy all. Like, well, where the fuck is it, cocksucker? Anybody who put that over on mainstream media should be served this week with papers to appear in court as for yellow journalism, whatever it is,
yelling fire in a crowd.
Committing conspiracy themselves. Like, where are the fucking mandates that these people are no longer allowed to tell these type of fucking lies, and that they're brought up on charges?
I think that sandstorm thing is the only thing that scared off the murder hornets from coming to get us.
That could have been it. That could have been the murder.
Because I haven't heard a word about the murder hornets coming back.
Well, now we got pig flu coming. Swine flu.
Well, you got to watch for that now. Dr. Fauci said so mark it down.
Yeah, Go ahead.
No, I was going to say something. Go ahead. I'll jump on.
The dust cloud. We were in Florida. We were about to come back, and my wife's mom texted her and said, "Hey, there's the big dust storm coming from Africa." And I'm like, I looked at it, and then we researched it, and it was like, this is going to be the worst one. The way they worded it, this is going to be the worst one in the last 50 years. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. That means they have one almost every year. And I looked it up. I'm like, oh, it should be like a tropical storm or hurricane, but it's so dry. Am I getting this right? It's so dry that it's dust. So it created a milky haze in the sky that could, like, it just looked like a really cloudy day. What did I say?
I thought you were talking about Chainsaw's pussy again.
Again, I didn't.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Continue, sir. I'm sorry. And he said milky.
I got a lot of TV shows to lose this year. We got to get on the
milky haze, and I was just wondering.
I could just picture Stevie saying, "You want to see a dust storm? I had an abundance of egg protein today, baby. Come here."
Here's the deal. I only come once a year.
What if Dragon
It's
did?
dry.
What if Dragon did?
Well, Dragon. Oh, dude, I bet Dragon did put Chainsaw over. Imagine that, Dragon and Chainsaw's kid.
Well, as long as he
That
didn't
day,
have
we
to-
drove home, and I'm like, because I thought I was going to be driving through like the Mission Impossible thing where he's running through the. That's what they made it look like, right?
Yeah.
Where the mummy's chasing behind you as you're driving, and his face is in the giant dust storm.
Anything. I mean, they probably should have shown like live looking footage and just a clip from the movie, The Mummy or that.
Right? Yeah. Akuma Shente, and they fucking charge like the fucking. But we're in charge here, infidels. We're not gonna bow down to your dust storms, your goddamn murder hornets, your Wu-Tang killer bees, because we see you coming 100 miles and running, infidels. There's nothing you can do to get to us, and we appreciate everybody at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen, as they'll eventually try and ban from this channel. I saw somebody got banned for talking and putting over David Icke. Well, wait till David Icke's on this show, and then we'll draw a line and see if the androgynous gay deer, judge and jury of Twitch is going to put us down, or we're going to go over strong like we always do, because it's always heels up on the Conspiracy Horsemen. New Force Order is out. The new Force Order is out, man. What are we talking this week, GGP?
All right. Well, it was episode 69, so it was a little
Damn, she fine.
giggity. We touched base on the rumors about the retcon of the sequel trilogy. It's fictitious. We don't think we have an inside in Lucasfilm, and he told us that it was mentioned, but it wasn't taken seriously. You know what I mean? He just came in conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And now all these people are running with it, and all these idiots out there are saying, "Oh, they're going to retcon the films. They're going to discontinue. They're going to go back, and episode 7, 8, 9 is not going to count, and it's going to get out of canon." It's not going to happen. So anyhow, we touched base on that, and we touched base on some other news. We bust each other's balls, and that's basically we had a good time.
Are you gonna go up and tell the wife tonight? Execute Order 69.
If the 37 kids go to bed, hopefully.
She'll look at the calendar and go, "Is it your birthday already?"
She's like, I'm one of the Red Guard. You're not getting nothing. Shit, man. Well, you guys, you can save money right now on all of our pro wrestling tee stores. Going over there during a 72-hour sale and get yourself a new Force Order shirt using the code American, and use and save 20% there. I might have to get him to change it to Americant for my store. Big Steve Areno, you're testing out equipment left and right, all kinds of tech, updating Russo's YouTube page, clipping, stripping, doing whatever it takes to pay the bills, putting out fires, taking care of your neighbors and all the cats and animals. What the hell else is going on?
Just hanging out. That's about it. Now we got Stevie Richards Fitness, the 12 and 16-week resistance band training programs. I actually got some resistance band trainer for boxing. I was trying that out earlier today, shooting some footage of that. Also, the code is Stevie5 for ForceUSA.com, as well as DiamondbackFitness.com for strength and cardio equipment. And of course, riding on your coattails, you see my new name right there.
Oh, yeah.
$5 compliments via PayPal.
Yeah.
You give me face claps. $5, I will give you a compliment that's obviously going to be very G-rated and not overstep my bounds in any way. It'll be like Mr. Rogers giving you by the way, speaking of Mr. Rogers, I sent in Messenger, Ben. Something like I sent it to you instead of the group by mistake.
Okay.
Hi, Sal.
$5 compliment should be ridiculous enough to actually make more money than my pro wrestling tee stores. It's made me $7 this past month.
Really,
I don't really push it though.
Well, I mean, now's the time to.
I'd rather somebody buy a fucking G12 than a T-shirt. You know what I mean? I'll force USA. You know.
Buy both, infidels. And always go over and check out everything we're doing on russosbrand.com. Stevie is absolutely killing it on the improvisation and master shoot theater. Just week after week, seeing them get more comfortable with it. This week was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed putting that show out there this week. So if you're not a subscriber yet over there, we have a lot of fun on Russo's Brand as well. Big Salala. Are we going to have online Dungeons and Dragons gaming? What's coming up? What's going on, man?
Well, now that I'm home and have all my shit at my disposal again. I'm still setting up the special Stevie version of the survival horror game. We are going to throw, excuse me, sorry. Got in touch with a couple of other game designers. Might be doing some more artwork for them. And also going to be running some more stuff for the Horror Junkyard. Stuff we've been planning, but now shit gets in the way. But like I said, best laid plans. So we're trying to kind of move that forward.
You're on with Russo. Russo wants you to do a caricature. You both could, if you want. I got the cough too. For his pro wrestling tees, he wants to expand. So there's homework for both of you guys to get over.
Yeah.
And then you can get the secret memes. Once you do that, then you can
fair enough.
That test we did earlier, Sal.
Yeah.
One of the applications was if I get the overhead camera rig, you can do the game all together through that with everybody seeing the board. So
sweet. Like I got the overhead rig for mine. So I'll throw the iPhone up. And then that, I guess it goes through you. But like I said, I have a bunch of stuff that I'm getting together because I want the game to be different. I want it to be a little special because it's going to be something that I think we're going to offer for people to check out of just not the normal, not the same old shit that's coming out. We want to kind of expand Hard Junkyard a little bit and kind of get into more, little different areas with it. So we're going to keep going, but we want to add some extra stuff and want to put more content on Hameen Media. Another thing I have to work on, maybe get from you, Ben, is a list, because every time at the end of Hard Junkyard, we're trying to do plugs, which I'm amazing at. Mm-hmm. The only thing I remember is I go, we got tons of stuff you guys need to see in Hameen Media. We got NFO. We got the locker room. We got a lot of stuff going on. And the only other thing I could remember is fucking 12 Gauges Suck My Balls from the South Park podcast. So
that's plenty,
there's
man.
So much stuff. There's so much stuff to go check out at Hameen Media. And then, so I need to get a list of that.
Right on, dude.
So we definitely, we're just going to keep going and just try to get more content done because, like I said, now I'm home and I want to get some more shit done.
Yeah, well, as the numbers keep climbing, I think we're about 7 days away. I'm actually hoping that this show next week will be right at the mark where we want to be, because right now we're at, let's see, bring up the number here, 1,977,971 downloads. So
I also want to tell you almost gave fucking Chuck a heart attack when you'd posted, you were like, we're up to 2 million downloads. Mm-hmm. And he went, for the fucking junkyard? Are you kidding me? He almost shit his pants. I'm like, no, I think it's for the overall.
The overall right now, man.
Yeah, he about shit himself, so that was pretty good.
Well, what we're gonna do is start splitting the affiliate shows and make them their own sub networks. So there's gonna be even more shine on the affiliate shows, so things aren't getting lost. So we have everybody doing their mainstream stuff, whether it's you guys on Horsemen and the locker rooms, and we're focusing on that. And then we're going to have all the fun stuff from Suck My Balls, South Park podcast, and everybody able to do special things where they can even farm it out even more. Man Beast is going to do a piece where it's debates on fun topics and things like that. So very cool new fresh content coming after we pass 2 million that way and start to even break it out even further, man. So I'm excited to highlight whatever you want to do with the gaming stuff or even more Horror Junkyard. I'm excited for. I'd like to even see you guys do a Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of it.
A couple people asked me. They said, "What was the thing when you had been on?" And I'm like, "When did we have been on?"
Yeah,
Then I realized it was when we did the fucking Last Man on Earth.
We're just ribbing Last Man on Earth. It was a good time.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I had a good time with that.
For sure.
The
And,
Wrestlers versus Zombies didn't really turn out that well, though.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand how we got so much anger, but everybody loved the bin episode.
It's just what it is. Everybody loves a terrorist who kidnaps, raises oil prices, and flies planes into buildings and takes CIA money. Because that's the only way we're making any money here, giving it away. Infidels at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen. Send your hate mail, your emails, your voicemails to conspiracyhorsemen@gmail, or I guess my Instagram.
The females.
If anybody wants to just call me a culture vulture or a pussy or a fat bastard, you can do that there as well. Follow us all on Twitter, or just me, because I think me and GGP are the only ones left on there, at @bin_Hameen, at Greek God Papadon. You guys know where it is. The loyalists here at hackerhameen.podbean.com. As we approach 2 million infidels, it's time to shine a light all the way to September the 9th, the 11th, the election. We're going to be there nonstop, and you're in the right place with the Conspiracy Horsemen. YOLO!
Get on COD, fuckers.